Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. It is Stephanie Levinston, Intuitive Channel. And I love the topic of conversation in this live stream. We're going to talk about dreams. Sorry, let me get rid of that. We're going to talk about our dreams. And let me just say as a disclaimer, I am not a professional dream interpreter. I'm not going to be interpreting anyone else's dreams, but I am going to talk about how important our dreams can be in informing us, in influencing us, and in guiding us. And we'll talk about why. And I'll share one or two of my own dreams that, while they happened long, long ago, they are dreams that I never forgot and I never will forget. I'm sure I wrote them down somewhere, but they're the kind of powerful memory that came to me at pivotal times in my life and have really provided me, my dreams have provided me with a lot of humor, a lot of wonder, and guidance as well, guidance and support. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. So if you're here, please type in hello. It's not been showing me very well who is here, and last time I did not get any. Okay, let me see. So just send a little greeting, a little hi if you're watching live, and engage with me because I would love to hear what some of your dreams are if you feel like sharing. So what inspired me to talk about this today is that I have been doing an online training workshop on shadow work. Shadow work being that aspect of ourselves that we generally, that is in the shadows, that we don't tend to shine the light on because it's more of the unpleasant aspects or misunderstood or not understood aspects of who we are. Your shadow, as Carolyn Myss talks about, is that part of yourself that can respond or react in some huge, overwhelming ways that take you by surprise if you're not aware of it. So what is something that would be so inflaming to you, whether it be something that somebody says to you or someone you love, or something that you witness somebody doing, that elicits that part of yourself that is just crazy rageful, is one example. There's a lot of other examples. But in this shadow workshop, Andrew Harvey he co-teaches it with Carolyn Myss. It's on Sounds True, by the way, if anyone wants to take the workshop. I've been finding it to be really enlightening and helpful. And what he talked about in the course I listened to today, in the discussion, was our dreams and the power of our dreams. And so it sparked this desire in me to connect with you all about that. He's talking about how important it is that we pay attention to our dreams. And what's interesting is that not only do I find this to be true for myself, but time and again in my sessions with my clients, through channeling messages from their higher selves and from their guides, a lot of people are guided to pay attention to what's going on in the dream state. Hey, Trisha. And so how do we pay attention to our dreams? Some people don't remember their dreams. I have a lot of clients and friends who tell me, well, I wouldn't know what to do with my dreams anyways because I wake up and I don't remember anything. Well, I think we can do something about that, and I'll give you some strategies, some suggestions for how you can start to maybe remember your dreams, because if you can't remember them, obviously they can't inform you in a conscious way. So here's what I'm going to suggest you do. And this is a practice that I engage in at times when I remember, and also when I'm really focused on using that part of my guidance system that's able to reach me when all of my defenses are down. That's where we are in our sleep state. All of our defenses are down. We basically are in a receptive place. We're asleep. And so we can be visited then by our guides, by our energetic support system, by divine love and guidance that can work with us through dreams, through what we see as images in our dreams or what we remember as what people said or did in our dreams. So here's what I'm going to recommend that you do if you'd like to remember more of your dreams. Before you go to sleep at night, the first thing I would recommend is that you at least take 5 minutes to drop into a more settled, energetic space. So some people call this meditation, and doing a meditation before you go to sleep is phenomenal. That's fantastic, but it doesn't have to be something you call meditation. If that works for you, use that. But when I say drop into a more settled space, sit up in your bed, cross-legged or comfortably, propped up on pillows. Close your eyes and settle your breathing into a slower, steadier rate. Some people like to count. Some people like to see a color or call forward a particular image. Some people like to repeat a phrase or a mantra or a word that helps them to center their energy and settle their energy. Whatever works for you, play with any number of those things. But for at least 5 minutes, settle your energy in preparation for your sleep state. So rather than just falling into bed at the end of a busy, long day, which, believe me, I understand the draw to do that, consciously enter into your sleep state. And so what you're doing in this sacred time of 5 minutes or longer is you are intentionally clearing out any energy that you've picked up during the day that doesn't serve you, releasing it, and even say to yourself or say out loud that that's what you're doing. I am releasing any energy that's attached itself to me that does not serve me. Anything that I have brought into my energy field during the day that isn't of me or for me, I am releasing. Focus just on the breath, breathe deeply, set a timer, and just get to that ebb and flow of connecting to the breath, which just very naturally settles your heart rate. It settles the pace of your thoughts. It allows for things to be really easy and really steady. When you come out of that, or when your timer goes off, the next step is this. The next step is to say, I invite and invoke my guides and or my ancestors. You make this your own. I'm giving you just a basic script, but make it your own. I invite and invoke my ancestors and my guides to visit me during my sleep state, to inform me, to influence me in positive ways, and show me what I need to see to be of the greatest support to me at this point in my life right now. And you can make any request that you want. So maybe to be of the greatest support to you, or maybe you want to experience something joyful and laughter-filled and humorous, you can make that request. But making the invitation to your energetic support system to visit you in your sleep state is a very powerful thing to do, and I find it to be incredibly effective. The third part of that is to ease into your sleep state. And so after you make that request and then recognize that it is so, because you have made the request, that you will be visited by your guides, that you will be visited by your ancestors, and you can even, hey Susie, oh my gosh lady, I think you're peeking in from all the way across the world. Is that right? I don't know if I can even see comments. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to see you, lady. Anyway, so that last piece, after you make the request to invoke and invite your guidance system and your ancestors, is to ease yourself into your sleep state. This is just a very smooth transition. Basically, go to sleep. You might notice your thoughts start to pick up their pace. That's okay. Sometimes we do that right before we fall asleep. Nothing else other than focusing on your breath and doing what you normally do to help yourself fall asleep. Trust that night, the very first night that you practice this, will be effective. That doesn't mean that you're going to, oh wait, there's one more component I forgot to mention. Make the request that what dreams you have that will benefit you to remember will be remembered. Okay, so you can just say to your energetic guidance system, I am requesting to recollect my dreams when I wake up, so that I may use them, so that I may have a consciousness around them. and have a pen and paper, a journal and a pen by your nightstand. Because here's why. If you request to remember your dreams, that wish can be granted the very night that you request it. I'm not saying it will be. I don't know what your specific experience will be, but it can be. I've seen it and I've experienced it myself. So if you do awaken, and this might be in the middle of the night, you don't know, right? Sometimes we wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom or change our position for whatever reason. It might be that you recall a part of your dream at that time, and if you have your paper and pen handy, you can jot down just a little bit, a quick recollection of what it was in your dream that you most recently remember, and then go right back to sleep. Otherwise, keeping the journal and the pen on your nightstand for when you do wake up in the morning at your regular time, and allotting for a few minutes to capture what you remember from your dreams is an essential tool as well. Because once you have it on paper, you can go on about your day. Perhaps you don't have time in the morning to go through the process of analyzing your dream or recalling the little nuances of it. But if you write it down and then move on about your day, then you can always come back to it. It's a really great thing to have documented. The reason we're talking about all of this is because we're at a time in our evolution and in the evolution of the planet where more and more of us are being visited, I will say, or being reconnected, let's use that term better, to spirit. And one way that spirit reaches us much more easily than in our waking hours is during our sleep states. And so we are actually being worked with in that, what we call unconscious asleep state, without knowing it. And so energies being moved, and we are being informed, and we are being guided. And so if we can capture that and remember it and use it in other ways and other layers and a deeper understanding, then we can take that to the upper limits of what we're actually here to understand and how we're actually here to be in concert with spirit and spiritual guidance. Let me take a sip of water. Susie says, I wish I remembered my dreams better. I know, I get it. I don't remember the last time. Well, actually, I did remember a dream within this last week. I can't remember what it is right now, but I remember sharing it because it was some really strange imagery. But if you want to, Susie, you can make the request, and make the request consistently, and go through a ritual practice of getting yourself primed to do so. So have the paper, have the pen, go through a little bit of a meditative space and peaceful breathing practice, and keep making the request to remember. And it might just be, you might start simple and say, I just want to remember one image from my dream, not that I have to remember the whole thing, because starting big like that can be very disappointing. And the more disappointment we have, the less we feel we're being successful at something. And the more we feel like we're failing at something, the less likely we are to continue in that persistence, perseverance of it. So just ask to recall a small part of it, maybe a person that was in it with you, or maybe an image. So let me tell you guys about a dream that I had more than 20 years ago that I still remember every detail to. It was a time in my life where I was heading into a major transition. I was about to get married. And for anybody that's ever been in a partnership of that nature of committedness, you know how big a deal that is. And there's a lot of feelings and a lot of doubt. Even if you are totally certain of your decision to get married, there's a lot of stuff that brings up. So in my dream, I had the awareness that I was not prepared for my wedding. And in my dream, my lack of preparedness had to do with I didn't have a dress yet. I didn't even have a wedding dress, and it was the day of the wedding. So there was all of this feeling of panic and fright and fear and overwhelm. How am I going to get a dress? Where am I going to get a dress? who's going to be able to find a dress that fits me perfectly for this day that's happening? It's the morning and the wedding is in the evening. And so all of this panicked feeling came through my dream. All of this feeling of being unprepared, which for a lot of us is a common thread. It's a common theme, pervasive in a lot of our dreams. How many of you have had the dream or experience of feeling unprepared for a college exam, or having an exam and realizing you did not study for it, you didn't know you were going to have it? A lot of us do, even if college is years and years and years in the past. It's that dis-ease with being unprepared for something. So I remember that in the dream, I told my one of my best friends, I don't have a dress. I need a dress. I don't know what I'm going to do. And she said to me, don't worry. I know someone who can get a dress for you. So I followed her to a warehouse where apparently this, I want to call it backwoods dressmaker, hidden out of the way. It was almost like I don't know what to compare it to, an underground wedding dress trade. I'm not sure. But I go into this enormous warehouse, and a little man, a short, cute, older man, comes out, and my friend explains this situation that we're in, and I'm panicked and sweating and worried. And he says, don't worry. He had a very heavy accent. Don't worry. I'm going to get the dress for you. I have the perfect dress for you. So he comes out from the back of this warehouse, and he's holding a beautiful wedding dress. And he puts the dress on me, and don't you know, it fits perfectly. There's not a single alteration that needs to happen. And I said, thank you so much. And it's literally minutes now in my dream until the wedding starts. And he said, wait, you can't go yet. You're not totally ready. So I wait. He goes back to the back of the warehouse again, and he comes out leading a horse. I think it was a white horse, actually. He comes back leading a white horse to me, and he helps me get up on the back of the horse, and I'm holding the reins, and I'm ready to ride into my wedding. And he says, wait, there's one more thing that you need. You're not quite ready yet. So he goes to the back of the warehouse, and he comes back, and he has a scuba tank. Yes, I know how crazy this sounds, but he fits me with the scuba tank on my back, along with the breathing apparatus that you use when you scuba dive. And I do scuba dive, so this wasn't foreign to me, except that I was wearing it in a wedding dress on horseback. So I put the mask on, I have the scuba tank, I have my dress, I have my horse, and I exit the warehouse. And then I find myself in the temple where my wedding was scheduled. And I walk down the aisle that way. And the dream essentially ends. Well, when I woke up and remembered the details of that dream, it's very clear what the elements are there, right? So if we look at taking a dream and taking the different elements that you remember, because I'm sure there are some things that I didn't recall clearly in that dream, but my fear was that I will not be prepared. Something will go unnoticed, undone, incomplete to an event that is really very important to me. So this feeling of not being ready, perhaps not feeling prepared, that is the reality of what I was experiencing from time to time during the process of planning this event. Another aspect to that dream is that, and this is a big one, that I was taken care of anyways. That through my asking for help, and it happened to come for me in the form of that best friend who I shared, oh my gosh, I'm in big trouble. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need some help. I don't have a dress. And she just happened to know someone and offer me the help and support that I needed. And so the fact that help comes to us in a variety of ways, and sometimes we cannot anticipate what that might be like. And if we don't allow ourselves the asking for the help, then we can't receive it. And so I'm really glad that in that dream I shared what this situation was, and I got the support and help that I needed. Then there were the elements of preparedness that I apparently needed in order to be truly ready for my wedding. One, there was the dress, that's a given. Two, there was the horse. And I don't remember exactly, but at the time that I had this dream, I was working in a hospital with a dietitian who did dream interpreting on the side. And I think she told me at that time what the white horse signified, but I don't remember. So Susie, if you're still here and you know, or anybody for that matter, if you know what the significance is of a white horse, type it in, because I can't recall. But horses being very powerful, horses being very strong, horses being also, I will say this, an escape, right? Like we see the movies of people riding off into the sunset or escaping on horseback from something. And so it was that element of, I can make an escape if this ends up not being a good thing for me. Yeah, horses are power animals. Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious what their symbolism is as power animals, but I think you're right, Susie. So having like a very powerful way for me to carry myself into a situation and possibly to carry myself out. And then that piece with the scuba tank. So if we think of a scuba tank, what is that? Oh my gosh, that's air, that's life. That's how we're able to go underwater and still live and appreciate the beauty of what is in our oceans and our waters, and still be able to live and breathe and survive that. So it was sort of like I was packing my own air, that if I felt like I couldn't breathe, literally or figuratively, or if I felt like I needed something extra to support myself, I had my own air. Which is so symbolic, I think, because each of us, we need our own air. We do, literally. We need our own space. Why do we need our own space? Because we need to be breathing through the lungs, but also through the skin and through our awareness and through our spirit. We need to be breathing in exchange with the purest form of what we can have access to at any time. And so to have our own air oftentimes means to separate from what is going on, from the density of what's going on around us. So in what ways can you ensure that you have your own air in any situation that you find yourself in? But that was a dream, a very powerful dream with a whole lot of symbolism, that when I sat with it and I took a good look at some of it, I could recognize and acknowledge some of the very natural insecurities that were coming up for me, looking into this enormous transition of being an individual and then becoming part of a married couple, and all the things that might mean, and not even really knowing, because until you actually experience something, you don't really know what it's all about. But all of the natural questions about who will I be on my, within myself in partnership, and who will I be in partnership, and how can I make sure that I'm okay? And so having the horse and the scuba tank really helped with that. So that's just one example of a kind of crazy, but not so crazy dream that I enjoy remembering and telling about. And what I would love to challenge you all with is to do just what we talked about. If it's your desire to use your dreams as a way to connect with spirit and as a way to help you guide and navigate your life, because it's a beautiful way to do that, then make the request. Make the request every single night. You will need to be consistent and persistent in this pursuit, because you're creating, if you don't already remember your dreams, you're creating something new and something ongoing. And I believe that it can be achieved, and I'm really excited to hear what you learn from your dreams. Andrew Harvey was saying that our dreams contain a lot of information about our shadow aspect as well. that lesser known, lesser understood, and definitely more judged aspect of ourselves. And so if we can learn about that shadow aspect through dream state, it's a lot easier to accept that part, to shine a light on it and be willing to embrace that, than when we have, as he calls, shadow attacks, right? When we just fly off the handle or totally lose our cool or lose our minds over something that we have to go back and clean up later. Better to do so in our dreams, and then to tease that out and start to have a deeper understanding around it. So thank you for joining me, Susie. So glad to see you. Safe travels to you, lovely. And to all of you, I want to hear, what are you remembering about your dreams? How are they guiding you and leading you? Take care. Much love.